It's another round of the 2025 Formula Worldwide Championship. It is round 8 of 16. 8 more Grand Prix to go as the Drivers' Championship is getting close between the two teammates and the two Scuderia Ferrari teammates of Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Now, coming into this race week, Ferrari was a new title sponsor. They are now going to be called the Scuderia Ferrari HP, but that will be renamed going into the next Grand Prix in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. At the moment, that is called Ferrari HP. Here at Ferrari's home race, the tifosi have been going crazy ever since yesterday, where Charles Leclerc put his Ferrari on pole. Hamilton starting P8. Here's a look at the track map. Here at the Monza International Circuit, the Nazionale, we have a 7 right hands and 7 and 4 to the left. Of course, this makes up the 5.7 kilometers, 11 are corners, and of course, Ferrari won their first ever Grand Prix here in 1951. This was back in 2020. Pierre Gasly and Max Verstappen making contact. Of course, the two former teams. This was at the Curva Grande. Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel. Vettel in the Red Bull. And look at that. Fernando Alonso in his Ferrari right on the outside, and this was through the Ascara chicane launch Stroll at Carlos Sainz and the McLaren, and then Stroll at Racing Point, which is now called Aston Martin. Here's a look now at the Pirelli tires. We have the C4, the soft, the C3, which is the mediums, and the C2, which is the hard tires. Some are starting on the mediums, some on hard, and a lot of them are on softs. Here's a look now at the starting grid for the Italian Grand Prix. At the back is going to be Alex Albon and Ollie Behrman. Both Williams are going to be out, or the Williams and of course the Haas, and then it's Gabriel Bortoleto and Lance Stroll in his Aston Martin. Then Nico Hülkenberg and Pierre Gasly in his Alpine. 14th is going to go to Carlos Sainz, with Lando Norris lining up in the 13th position. Then 12th is going to go to Jack Doohan, probably making his final start for Alpine. That's been a lot of speculations, with Oscar Piastri in 11th. Then it is Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon, the two former teammates from Alpine. And it is the championship leader of Lewis Hamilton, who is P8, and Liam Lawson, who is starting at 7th in his Racing Bulls, with Isaac Hadjar in P6 and Kimi Antonelli in P5, with George Russell 4th in his Mercedes and Yuki Tsunoda 3rd. And 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. And then, of course, it is Max Verstappen, who is not going to be fighting for the world title this year, and Charles Leclerc in P1. So now your Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. Hamilton leads ahead of Leclerc, Tsunoda, Ferrari 7 out ahead, with Mercedes 100 ahead. I'm here with my good friend Jesse, and Jess, we've seen a lot so far in this Formula One world title this year between the two teammates.
It sure has been an incredible so far season, but here we go. Time to get the Italian Grand Prix going.
So time to get round 8 on the way. It's lights out and away we go. They won't have for long at Charles Leclerc as an excellent start. Max Verstappen at second place, that's Tsunoda, but George Russell moves in the P3. Then it's Yuki Tsunoda forward. Isaac Hadjar now 5th, but Charles Leclerc with an incredible start on his soft compound tyre. Then it's Verstappen in 2nd. Then here comes Russell, and then Tsunoda. Isaac Hadjar runs 5th. Liam Lawson moves into P6 now. Hamilton has spawned the 8th, or stays in it, but now has spawned the 10th. The World Championship leader now down in 10th position. So now that's Charles Leclerc for Verstappen and George Russell, but Yuki Tsunoda fights back ahead of George Russell. Then it's Isaac Hadjar in the P4. Then it is George Russell down in the P5. What a crazy start to begin of the Italian Grand Prix.
You are absolutely right. What a crazy start already for the Italian Grand Prix. But Charles Leclerc is now leading. Look at he is now trying to say some ERS. Oh, a little bit of contact between the Williams and the Alpine of Gasly. But so far they keep it straight. But now you can see Charles Leclerc already pulled in 2.6 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. So already Charles Leclerc putting up a really nice gap, but not a great start with George Russell. Oh, contact! Oh, big crash in the back! That's Carlos Sainz, who is just launched into the air and hard into the ball for Carlos Sainz, and he's going to be out of the already on the Italian Grand Prix. Oh, they're going to safety car already.
Safety car, maintain Delta.
a big crash in the back with Carlos Sainz already retiring out from the Italian Grand Prix, the man who was on the podium here over a year ago. And I really hope he's okay, because Jess, you called it. That was a big crash, but most importantly, that car got airborne.
I couldn't quite tell what happened, but it just looked like Gasly got into Carlos Sainz, because it looks like Gasly has some more understeering, got into Carlos, and the way, Carlos's car got up into the air, it was like way off the ground, all four tires, but it came back on the, ground, really hard, and I think he had no steering, and it went, wing first into the wall, but it's good to see that he is okay. He is out of the car.
So now, with the safety car out, do we see anyone trying to take a gamble? We saw Charles Leclerc trying to do it last week in Germany when he had to stop at the back when an early safety car came out, because he was covering that big wreck last week. Will he pit, or will he know that gamble did not help him take the lead? And mostly Ferrari kind of, put that on themselves last week. What do you think, Josh? Are they going to do it, or are they going to stay out?
I don't think anyone's going to be gambling here, though, Queen. I mean, I know probably someone to gamble, but I just don't know if they're going to, because we saw it happen to Charles last week in Germany. It didn't quite help him get the race lead, but look who's third. Isaac Hadjar is third.
Isaac Hadjar brought a run by this rookie in the Racing Bulls, but in terms of the Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc would retake the championship lead by 25 points, because Hamilton at the moment is not in the point, so Leclerc would regain the championship lead. Ferrari would have a good sizable lead in the constructors. Meanwhile, McLaren's Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris aren't having a really good race. 13th and only 11th still for the team Mercedes run of George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. George Russell the highest in P5. Antonelli is running in P9 in his Mercedes. Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso ran 10th and 16th still. Meanwhile, Racing Bulls, the RB of Isaac Hadjar runs third, and Alim Lawson runs P7. And there's the two Rebels of Max Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda, second and fourth. Charles Leclerc, the new championship leader at the moment, is first, and Hamilton running in P10 or P9.
Yeah, Hamilton was able to get his business back because someone overtook him in the, Ascara chicane. So, and we believe it was Fernando Alonso. So Hamilton is back in P9 after, Alonso went off track and gained an advantage. So Hamilton is 9th. Meanwhile, we're going to have the safety car coming in, so we could probably see drivers pitting at the end of the safety car, Queen, as Isaac Hadjar, an impressive P3 for Racing Bulls. They would take P5 in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari would extend their lead to an 87-point advantage, and then Mercedes 116 back.
And we know the safety car will be coming in this lap. We have completed 3 out of 10 laps, 8 more laps to go remaining in the Italian Grand Prix, as Charles Leclerc leads as they come through Parabolica. I talked about the two McLaren struggling. They run 4th in the Constructors, Mercedes 3rd. Still with a good sizable lead of a McLaren, but here we go now. We're back to racing, and Charles Leclerc matches on the gas, and he is now re-flying and taking re-advantage of his race lead that he lost. Jack Doohan is in the pit, so it's like you talked about, Jess. We'll probably see some cars come in with the safety car to make some pit stops, and the first car to do it was Jack Doohan. But now Charles Leclerc with a 1.8 second advantage. Yuki Tsunoda retakes 3rd. Kimi Antonelli is now 5th. George also goes 4th.
Also coming into the pits was Isaac Hadjar. We didn't see that, but now Isaac Hadjar also came in the pits. So that's 2 cars, the Racing Bulls and the Alpine of DOOHAN. Isaac Hadjar, what a save by Charles Leclerc. We've seen him make those early mistakes. We saw him in Hungary a couple months ago, a couple of races ago, where he made that mistake going wide and losing the rear end of his race car. And our Charles Leclerc now 4.9 seconds clear of Max Verstappen. Yuki Tsunoda is 6.5 seconds back. Then it's George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. So it's Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, Mercedes. And now through a scar goes Charles Leclerc. Now 7 more laps to go remaining in the Italian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc will have to make a pit stop. Question is, which tires will he go on? As we're seeing the battle now between Pierre Gasly and Monstro. That was a battle for P15. And now, well, actually, it's a battle for P14 between the Aston Martin and the Alpine. Gasly holds on at the moment. Wow, big snap of sideways for Fernando Alonso as he nearly loses the back of his Aston Martin. And our Charles Leclerc is coming into the pits. So now Leclerc comes in and he will be going on a set of hard compound tires. Max Verstappen and so is George Russell. How is the pit stop going to work for Ferrari? It is absolutely perfect. And it is the fast pit stop for Charles Leclerc. Fernando Alonso is also in the pits. The big step of over here. Here comes also I think the Haas mechanics are also coming out as well. Well, I think of Esteban Ocon coming into the pits as well. So now, Charles Leclerc is going to hold off Max Verstappen. So Ferrari, with an unbelievable pit stop, is now probably will resume the lead after all the pit stops have been cycled. So Charles Leclerc comes out ahead of Isaac Hadjar. So Hadjar made that unbelievable stop. He runs 14th, Verstappen 15th. And look at this. There goes Isaac Hadjar. Hadjar now 15th in the 13th position. Unbelievable. Can Charles Leclerc repass Isaac Hadjar?
Isaac Hadjar was one of those cars that came into the pits during that safety car restart as Charles Leclerc down the inside and retakes that 12th, 13th position. That will be a battle for the race lead. And now Charles Leclerc could be stuck behind the Sabo of Gabriel Bortoleto. And he couldn't quite get the pass through the first of the two Lesmos. And now Charles Leclerc's going to have to stay right behind Gabriel Bortoleto, but he is going to get DRS. So he will have the rear wing open. Oh, but he didn't though. He just couldn't quite get it though. Albon holds 11th, still ahead of Gabriel Bortoleto. Through a scar comes Charles Leclerc. Now we've completed 4 out of the 10 laps. That leaves us now with 7 laps to go. Isaac Hadjar once again trying to make a move. Boston comes into the pits, into the Racing Bulls. I believe we saw also Tsunoda coming into the pits as well on Jack Gabriel Crespi. Charles Leclerc has so far dominated this race. Pierre Gasly in the Alpine now into the pits. So is Alex Albon. It was I think Lawson into the pits, and now DRS has been enabled. Oh, I'm not gonna Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc had to split him to get around the Red Bull of Yuki Tsunoda. So now Charles Leclerc up to 8th.
What a move by Charles Leclerc. He knows he has to, win this race to regain his championship lead. Because if he falls outside of the points, that is going to be costly, especially for him. But most importantly, if he and Hamilton falter and finish outside of the points, Red Bull will get the advantage, but that's Charles Leclerc going off and wider. Unbelievable. Charles Leclerc outbroke himself. We saw the perfect tire smoke and made a huge mistake. But he is still gaining on Lando Norris, but I'm pretty sure he didn't want to gain a lot of chance on that mistake.
Well, that huge mistake, Charles Leclerc will be losing that lap time to go for the fastest lap, but he's held on. But look who has the fastest lap. Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin has the fastest lap. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc really gaining up on Lando Norris on his medium compound tire. Esteban Ocon running P6 in the Haas. Can Charles Leclerc gain on both of them? We've made him these overtakes while Hamilton now comes into the pits. So is only Berman. Charles Leclerc ran wide. But now Charles Leclerc down the front straightaway and with ease is going to blow past both the Haas and his teammate up Lewis Hamilton and Strick. And so now Charles Leclerc runs P5, Lando Norris run 4th, Esteban Ocon is 3rd, but will have to pit 4 tires.
Meanwhile, there is only 4 more laps to go remaining in the Italian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc trying really difficult, trying so hard to get up to Lando Norris. Fernando Alonso comes to the pits. Lando Norris has the race pace that he's looking for. But Charles Leclerc is closing up. He is now 1.1 seconds behind the McLaren, and he goes for it all, and he's almost got into the wall by Charles Leclerc. And he really had to catch his car from nearly DNFing, because that would have been almost championship. Oh, and there's contact. Norris and Leclerc made contact. Is there damage to the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc?
So far, no damage to Charles Leclerc's Ferrari. At the moment, Lance Stroll still holds the fastest lap, but Charles Leclerc is now really catching up to Lando Norris. And now we believe we will see second and third place coming into the pit. So we know Ocon will be pitting. I believe it's now going to be Lando Norris. Stroll comes into the pit. So Lance Stroll comes into the pit. Esteban Ocon comes into the pit. And Lando Norris comes into the pit. So that now leaves Oscar Piastri to stay at. And Charles Leclerc still can't quite get the fastest lap because of that mistake with he and Lando Norris. So now Charles Leclerc with just now 3 more laps to go. Now he's going to be trying to catch up to Oscar Piastri. Can Charles Leclerc do it? He has now cut the gap to about 3.7 seconds now. Meanwhile, there's a battle going on for P20 between the Williams. And what is a battle between P19, between Ollie Behrman and Gabriel Bortoleto. Those two have been putting up a fight ever since, the pit stops, and that's Charles Leclerc running re-wide again. But now the gap is now at 2.7 seconds. Charles Leclerc gaining on Oscar Piastri. Oh, what a move. Albon re-enters the pit. He has throwing damage.
Low deployment. Need to recharge cycle.
As Charles Leclerc is raising and telling me he has no ERS, so he's going to have to recharge it to make sure, he has ERS, so he's turned that off. But he is gaining on Oscar Piastri, and he's gaining by a lot. 1.1 second between Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri. Can Charles Leclerc get him before the pit cycle? Now through parabolic we go. Charles Leclerc has gained on Oscar Piastri. He has gained on Oscar Piastri. Can he do it? Oh, but Piastri comes in the pit, and I was just wondering about Charles Leclerc, because if Piastri came in the pit stops, the Charles Leclerc head on into the wall, and we know how that is. 9 left to not 9 left to go. 10 or 2 left to go remaining here in the Italian Grand Prix. It's been a long day here at Monza, but 2 more laps to go for Charles Leclerc in the Italian Grand Prix, as now Kimi Antonelli runs second, Tsunoda third. Gabriel Bortoleto re-enters the pit, so he and Albon must have made contact, because now this is Gabriel Bortoleto's second pit stop in this race, so there must have been contact or somewhere on the racetrack. We saw yellow flags, but we just didn't know where. It looked like it was somewhere in sector 2, it looked like.
Well, look at that. Yeah, it looked like there was contact somewhere on the racetrack, and we believe it was through the second Lesmo in turn number 7, it looked like. Now down the back straight for Charles Leclerc. He has a 6.3 second lead over Kimi Antonelli, but Yuki Tsunoda closing in on Antonelli. Now through Ascara. Now you can see Charles Leclerc's ERS recharging up to 48%. Now down the long back straight, Charles Leclerc could just comfortably cruise to victory on the final lap of this race.
Smith and Jesse, he holds the fastest lap, so he would get that one precious championship point, as now Charles Leclerc takes the final lap of the Italian Grand Prix. Antonelli still holds second ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, Max Verstappen fourth, Liam Lawson passed Lewis Hamilton, so Hamilton struggling in his Ferrari. But what a day for Charles Leclerc. He has so far kept that car in one piece, even though the contact with Lando may have almost could have been a race ending. But here's a look now at the Drivers' Championship. Charles Leclerc with an 11-point lead, Yuki Tsunoda 40 back. Meanwhile, Ferrari would extend to an 87-point lead, and Mercedes 116 points back. As well as in the constructors for P5, Racing Bulls take P5 from the Haas team. They lead Haas over 8, Aston Martin by 35, Alpine by a 43, Kick Sauber by 49, and by over Williams by 64. So those 5 more teams are still in the hunt for P5, the big millions of dollars. But now Charles Leclerc beat down the back straightaway for one final time. He's won this race in 2019. He won this race at 2024. He's become now a 3-time Italian Grand Prix winner. And he does so. Charles Leclerc wins the Italian Grand Prix for the 3rd time and retakes the lead of the championship.
You are the race winner.
And after his impressive result and impressive run, Charles Leclerc regains the championship lead, ahead of Kimi Antonelli, who runs 2nd, Yuki Tsunoda 3rd, Verstappen 4th, Lewis Hamilton P5, Lawson 6th, Stroll 7th, Hadjar Bama 9th, and George Russell your top 10. In the Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc takes the championship lead once again by 11 points over Lewis Hamilton. Tsunoda holds 3rd, Antonelli 4th, Piastri 5th, Max Verstappen 6th, and in the constructors, Ferrari with an 87-point lead. And with that concludes today's race. We will see you in Monza we will see you in Imola for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Goodbye, everyone.